Bullied teen took the mic at talent show. Seconds later everyone was crying. Ethan Carter never liked the spotlight. At 16, he was tall and lanky, with glasses that slipped down his nose and a voice that cracked at the worst times. For years, his classmates had branded him Awkward Ethan, the boy who tripped over his own shoes and stammered when called on in class. The teasing wasn't just occasional, it was relentless. Whispers in the hallway, cruel laughter in the cafeteria, jokes scribbled on the chalkboard. Ethan carried it all silently, burying his pain in sketchbooks and the secret songs he wrote late at night when no one could hear. The annual spring talent show was supposed to be a night of fun, but for Ethan, it felt like another reminder that he didn't belong. The gymnasium was decorated with string lights, the bleachers packed with parents and students. On stage, kids juggled, danced, and belted out pop songs while the crowd roared with laughter and applause. Ethan sat in the back row, clutching his guitar case, his palms sweaty. Nobody knew he had signed up. He hadn't even told his mom, he wanted it to be a surprise. But as act after act passed, a sinking voice inside him whispered, "You don't belong here. They'll laugh at you, just like always." When the MC finally called his name, a ripple of murmur spread across the audience. "Ethan? Really?" someone snickered. A group of boys in the front row, the same ones who'd shoved his books to the floor countless times, elbowed each other and grinned. Ethan's legs felt like stone as he climbed the steps. The spotlight blinded him, and for a terrifying second, he couldn't move. His guitar strap hung awkwardly across his shoulder, and he fumbled with the mic stand. A hush fell. Everyone was waiting for him to fail. Then Ethan did something no one expected. He closed his eyes, took a shaky breath, and began to play. The first notes were soft, almost trembling, but the melody carried a quiet beauty. His voice followed, fragile at first, then growing stronger with each line. He wasn't singing a pop hit or a silly tune. He was singing his story. The song told of loneliness, of feeling invisible, of walking hallways where laughter turned sharp like knives. But it also carried hope, the kind of hope that blooms in the darkest corners. His lyrics spoke of wanting to be seen, of believing that kindness, even the smallest spark, could change a life. By the second verse, the gym was silent. The boys who had mocked him earlier weren't laughing anymore. Parents in the back row leaned forward, some with hands over their mouths. Teachers exchanged glances, realizing how much they had missed in Ethan's quiet eyes. And then came the chorus, a soaring, aching cry for compassion. "If you knew the battles I fight alone, would you still throw stones? Or would you hold my hand?" A girl in the second row wiped tears from her cheeks. The basketball captain shifted uncomfortably, his eyes glistening. Even the principal, who had seen dozens of talent shows come and go, felt her throat tighten. Ethan wasn't just singing, he was holding up a mirror to everyone in that room. His pain, laid bare, became their own. As the final chord rang out, Ethan lowered his guitar, breathless. For a heartbeat, there was nothing, no laughter, no whispers, just the sound of his heart pounding in his ears. Then, slowly, applause began. It started with a single clap from a teacher, then another from a parent, until the whole gym erupted. Students were on their feet, cheering and crying. The same boys who had bullied him sat frozen, their smirks replaced with something unrecognizable, shame. But the most unexpected moment came when Mia Thompson, the most popular girl in school, walked onto the stage. Without a word, she hugged Ethan tightly, her tears wetting his shoulder. "I'm sorry," she whispered, loud enough for the mic to catch. "We all should have been better." The crowd fell silent again, and then, as if a wave of realization swept over them, voices called out apologies, shouts of encouragement, even chants of his name. Ethan's knees shook, not from fear this time, but from the overwhelming flood of love that poured toward him. For the first time in his life, he wasn't invisible. He was seen. He was heard. That night changed more than just Ethan. It changed the school. The next day, students who had once ignored him stopped to say hello. A group of kids started an anti-bullying club, inspired by his courage. Teachers began paying closer attention to the quiet ones, realizing that silence often hides the loudest stories. And Ethan? He kept writing songs, not to prove himself anymore, but to share hope with anyone who needed it. Years later, people would remember that talent show not for the juggler or the dancers, but for the boy who took the mic and sang his truth. Ethan had turned his pain into a song, and in doing so, he unlocked the humanity in everyone listening. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is simply stand up, open your heart, and let the world hear your voice. And sometimes, that voice has the power to change everything.